Uganda is applauded for the good strides in socio-economic transformations, with many businesses sprouting, but with a highly vulnerable unemployed community. Many of these employment sectors have turned human rights abusers, inflicting mainly on rights of women and children. This has prompted the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, with a technical guidance from the Belgium Development Arm, Enable, to launch a 3-year project named Advancing Respect for Human Rights by Businesses. This is going to increase stakeholder engagement and commitment towards implementing business and human rights agenda.
This, in my view, is a unique project where the government is working together with civil society organizations and development partners at the same pace to achieve a goal of human rights protection. Each of the parties is bringing on board exceptional dimension to tackling the challenge of human rights violation in business operations.
In 2021, Uganda adopted the National Action Plan on Business and Human Rights, and according to the stakeholders, this project is timely to enforce elimination of child labor, especially in the agriculture sector and the mineral development sectors of the economy.
In our rapidly changing economy, businesses hold great potential to uplift communities. But to achieve this, they must respect human rights for all individuals without undue discrimination on any ground whatsoever, in the spirit of leaving no one behind. This responsibility, ladies and gentlemen, was made clear in 2011 when the UN Human Rights Council not only affirmed that companies bear a duty to respect human rights, but also provided them with a practical blueprint to fulfill this responsibility.
This plan is a document that guides us in the implementation of human rights protection in business activities. You may be aware that Uganda has registered an increment in the number of businesses, both foreign-owned and domestic businesses, because of the business environment that has been created in this country. This is very good for the socio-economic transformation of our country. However, in some cases, businesses have also had shortfalls that may undermine the respect for human rights. That is the reason that the action plan that we came up with aims to ensure that businesses conduct their activities in line with human rights standards. I'm convinced that we will implement this project very successfully, and we undertake to ensure that the rights of our people are upheld through the activities.
The project is highly funded by the European Union at a tune of 4.8 million euros.
The European Union is pleased to see an emphasis on working in the digital space among the project's thematic areas. As more and more private sector activity uses digital tools, including artificial intelligence, to increase productivity and create new business opportunities, it is important to ensure that the rights of end users and local communities are adequately protected.
The Business and Human Rights Project also directly complements Belgium's other development efforts in Uganda, such as our thematic portfolio on decent work and social protection, which focuses on the 4 pillars of decent work. That is, creation of decent jobs, standards and rights at work, social protection, and social dialogue. It also complements the other program in Uganda that we have here for 5 years. in the context of a 5-year bilateral agreement.
Enable and the Gender Ministry are to implement the project in 3 regions in Kampala Metropolitan, Busoga region and the Albertine Oil region.
And this project will help the government of Uganda, and more specifically the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, to implement the National Action Plan and to help businesses really strengthen business and human rights in their supply chains, in their operations. Yeah? So we'll be working on the one hand, we'll be working on 3 different areas, helping the government to implement their National Action Plan, helping businesses do a self-assessment and strengthening respect for human rights in their business operations, and then thirdly working with civil society to really support them in tackling some of the business and human rights challenges, which include child labor, it includes abuses of digital rights, it includes things such as land rights as well. And we are not only focusing on Ugandan businesses, we're also focusing on European businesses that are working here and really helping them to tackle business and human rights challenges here in Uganda.
With a target of 1 million people sensitized on business and human rights, 210 human rights abuses related to business operations reported, and engagement of 50 businesses undertaking, human rights in the 3 years hopefully will strengthen the National Action Plan on Business and Human Rights of 2021.
And the commitment under this project will specifically look at communicating and coordination of businesses and human rights agenda. We'll look at regulation and monitoring business and human rights compliance. We'll also be supporting businesses in their respect of human rights, as well as engaging communities and providing access to remedy.